created a significant gap in the implementation of the utility rate. Increases adopted by City Council in late 2022, the City Council unanimously approved Resolution 22, 23, and 24, which would establish a 5-year schedule for an increase for water, sewer, and trash services effective January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2027. The increases were designed to make sure the city could fully recover the costs of providing reliable utility services, maintain critical infrastructure, and plan for necessary improvements. However, the subsequent annual increases outlined in the resolution have not been implemented in 2024, 2025, or 2026. The City of Portales has accepted full responsibility for the lack of increases, with City Manager Scott Minton saying, "I want to be clear, this was our responsibility and we fell short." To correct this gap, the city will immediately enact the rates that would have been implemented back in 2023. If you have any questions, please email City Manager at portelsnewmexico.gov.
A New Mexico county will be paying millions of dollars to one of its deputies after that deputy lost her job when coworkers leaked an explicit video of her. The attorney of the former Lee County Sheriff deputy, Karina Tello, said the settlement will help her start healing after losing a career that she loved. Back in 2023, then Lee County Sheriff Deputy Karina Tello was fired from her job after a group of colleagues in local law enforcement shared an explicit video of her. Tello told KRQE in 2024 it all took place after a disagreement with her superior. After it happened and Tello lost her job, her attorney said that she suffered an emotional toll, eventually leading to a lawsuit against Lee County, accusing the sheriff's office of unjustly terminating her. Lee County has now settled that lawsuit for $3 million. The situation also led to a criminal investigation and charges against 4 women. A former Lee County Sheriff Sergeant pleaded no contest in the case and was given 90 days probation. That sergeant, Sonia Estrada, has since retired. Meanwhile, the other 3 people named in the criminal case had their charges against them dropped.
The New Mexico Department of Wildlife has begun its biennial review of animals that it considers threatened. The process determines whether a state-listed wildlife will be uplisted from threatened to endangered or downlisted from endangered to threatened. This choice comes about on the basis of new data and other information regarding the biological and ecological status of the species. As a result, under the New Mexico Wildlife Conservation Act, New Mexico Department of Wildlife develops recovery plans for species listed as threatened or endangered. The Wildlife Conservation Act contains no provisions for critical habitat, habitat regulation, or other restrictions regarding state-listed wildlife to prevent direct taking of the species. Currently, there are 114 species included on New Mexico's list of threatened and endangered species, including 2 crustaceans, 24 mollusks, 22 fishes, 6 amphibians, 15 reptiles, 31 birds, and 14 mammals. As part of the 2026 review process, the department will be accepting public comments on the 2024 biennial review document now through July 6, 2026. For more information, you can email John Bulger at john.bulger@dgf.nm.gov.
Well, chances of rain this weekend and temperatures are starting to feel like spring.
I'm so happy because now the weather seems just a little bit more regulated.
Me too, and I'm glad we're not in high 90s here in the spring already.
Right.
Spring, let's take a look at our current temperature right now. Here in Portales, we're at 81 currently, down in Roswell, 82. Clovis, New Mexico at 80. Santa Rosa is at 81. And then Lubbock, Texas is at 79, as well as Hobbs, New Mexico. Let's take a look at our current radar. Seeing quite a bit of cloud cover moving into our region, coming down from the northern part of the state. Let's take a look at our allergy report. We're seeing a little bit of tree is at a high level, pollen at low, and then ragweed is at a medium level. And you know what? The further we go into the spring, the more these levels will rise. That's all the weather I have for you now. Stay tuned on my full weather forecast to see chances of rain. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thank you, Jaden. The Taos County Sheriff's Office said they had to recover the body of a teenager who jumped from the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge on Sunday. Sheriff Steve Mira said the body recovered was identified as a 19-year-old Chat Maestas who was from Los Alamos. Reports say that Maestas had made 2 passes and circled around the bridge, and when security tried to intercept him, Maestas got out of his vehicle and jumped over the railing of the bridge. After this tragic event, the sheriff said that they are talking to the New Mexico Department of Transportation to add a temporary barrier ahead of the construction of the railing this summer. However, the death is still being investigated. On Tuesday morning, a fire broke out at the center that provides health care to the homeless population in northwest Albuquerque. Firefighters responded to Healthcare for the Homeless located at 1217 First Street Northwest at 3 a.m. and found concerning fire conditions in a second-story attic space. Albuquerque Fire and Rescue brought the fire under control within 20 minutes of the crew arriving, and damage to the building was primarily to the attic space and front office area. The cause of the fire is under investigation. However, AFR said it appears to have started externally. No injuries were reported.
Coming up after the break, Jane will have his full weather report.
But first, let's take a look at today's financial market.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm Jane Phillips, and let's take a look at our current radar. Seeing a little bit of precipitation in the San Francisco area, around the Nevada mountains, all that fun stuff. Up north, though, you're seeing still some snow up in the Colorado area and the Canadian area, in Minneapolis area. Here in New Mexico, though, we are seeing clear skies throughout most of the state, cloud covered through most of the western hemisphere. And then as we take a look here in the eastern plains, a little bit of cloud cover. We're going to see a little precipitation around the Alamogordo area possibly, but nothing much really here in the eastern plains. Let's take a look at current temperatures. Up in Farmington, it's 75. Gallup is 70, 78 in Albuquerque currently, 72 in Santa Fe. Down south, you're going to be in the 80s and 70s. Here in Portales, currently 81. Clovis at 80, up there in Santa Rosa, 81. Roswell at 82, and Lubbock, Texas at 79 currently. Take a look at tonight's lows. You're going to see 52 in Albuquerque tonight, 40 up in Raton, 45 up in Farmington. Here in Portales, we're going to see tonight's low at 52, Clovis at 50, and then Tucumcari, New Mexico at 53. Amarillo is going to be up in 54, Lubbock, Texas at 57. Let's take a look at our wind speeds throughout the night. You're going to see a gust of about 6 miles per hour around 9 p.m. And then into the morning hours, it's going to dip down and not much of a breeze. It's going to be a beautiful morning here in Portales. Tonight, 49, clear skies. Winds are going to hit around the south at 12 miles per hour into tonight. Tomorrow's highs, we're going to see up in Farmington, 79, Gallup, 74, Albuquerque, 81. Here in Portales, so we are going to see 84 tomorrow. Clovis is going to be at 81, Tucumcari at 86. Take a look at our future forecast into Thursday. You're going to see this is where the rain is going to amp up a little bit. We're going to have scattered thunderstorms possibly south of Portales into the morning hours, and then into the afternoon, it's going to clear out. Tomorrow night's lows, we're going to see 45 in Santa Rosa, 47 in Clovis, 49 here in Portales, 52 in Lubbock, Texas. Let's take a look at some 7-day forecasts. You're going to see Tucumcari, New Mexico is going to have that Saturday chances of rain with 53% scattered showers, and then we're going to see 54 as a low, and then into the week, it's going to be windy. Next Wednesday is going to be 73 with partly cloudy skies. Here in Portales, we're going to see Friday is going to be 24% chance of the AM clouds and rain with 80, and then 61% chance of thunderstorms Saturday with 73 as a high. And then next week it's going to be windy until Tuesday, and then Wednesday is going to be 74, nice and sunny with a low of 42. So a bit of precipitation, maybe some scattered thunderstorms, but it's feeling like spring showers.
You know what? I'm actually really excited for some of those thunderstorms. I find it comforting.
Me too. I personally love the smell of rain, so like actually getting to be here on a Saturday and just smell rain and have a nice chill day, that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice weekend. Well, we'll have more news for you after the break.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Steven Shutton, and let's take a look at today's report. In the Final Four for the men's basketball, it came down to UConn versus Illinois and Arizona versus Michigan. The number 2 seed UConn Huskies took down the number 3 seed Illinois with a score of 71-62. This past Saturday in Game 1 of the Final Four, UConn secured their ticket to the national championship. In Game 2, it came down to number 1 seed University of Arizona and number 1 seed Michigan Wolverines. Michigan ran all over the Wildcats of Arizona with a score of 91-73 and punched their ticket into the national championship for Monday, April 6th. All games were played at Lucas Oil Stadium. This national championship was a thriller to watch as it came down to UConn and Michigan to decide who was going home with the Natty. This game was a close game as the Huskies were only down by 4 points as they entered the locker room for halftime. Even though the Huskies were down by 4, UConn didn't stop fighting to win the national championship. But in the end, the Wolverines of Michigan University still outran UConn and won the national championship with a score of 69-63. This was Michigan's first time winning the national championship in 37 years. In the Final Four for women's basketball, Game 1, it came down to number 1 seed UConn and number 1 seed South Carolina. The Gamecocks of South Carolina beat the Lady Huskies with a score of 62-48 and punched their ticket into the national championship. In Game 2, it came down to number 1 seed UCLA and number 1 seed Lady Longhorns of Texas University. The Lady Bruins beat the Lady Longhorns with a score of 51-44 and punched their ticket into the national championship. They were set to play against the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Both of these games were on Friday, April 3rd. In the national championship on April 5th, it came down to UCLA and South Carolina. UCLA beat the Lady Gamecocks 79-51, and UCLA was the national champion for D1 women's basketball. This was a great win for the Bruins since the last time the Lady Bruins won the Natty in basketball was 1978. The Hounds were at home this past weekend against the number 18 in the nation, the Rattlers of St. Mary's University. The Hounds won 1 out of the 4 games of this series. Their win came in Game 1 with a score of 9-5. In that game, in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Hounds got 7 home runs, which helped them take the lead and win the Game 1 against the Rattlers. Cole Curtis had 5 hits during this game, which also helped defeat the Rattlers. Logan Martin also had 3 RBIs during this game, which was the most out of the whole team during those games. The Hounds are on the road April 10th through 12th as they will be playing the Chaps of Lubbock Christian University. Their next and last home games of the season will be April 17th through 19th as they will be playing the Rams of Angelo State University. That's all the sports I have for today, but don't go anywhere because we have more exciting news after this break.
Welcome back. On Monday, the Artemis II crew had their flyby of the moon. Prior to the official flyby, they decided to name two of the bright craters on the moon's surface. The first crater was named Integrity, after the name they gave the Orion spacecraft, and the other crater was named Carol. Carol Wiseman was the wife of Artemis II Commander Reed Wiseman and the mother of two wonderful daughters. She lost her battle to cancer in 2020 at the age of 46. Jeremy Hansen, when he radioed to Mission Control, said, "We lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie." Monday also marked the furthest any human has ever been from Earth, beating the record Apollo 13 crew set in 1970. However, this record is expected to be broken again as we continue with the Artemis missions. The crew also went through planned loss of contact to Earth for 40 minutes as they traveled behind the moon. Today marks day 8 of their 10-day journey. The crew of Artemis II has a planned splashdown Friday off the coast of San Diego.
ENMU's Department of Health and Wellness and the Department of Public Safety are holding an event on April 15th to help show the dangers of drinking and driving. The Drive-Thru Disaster, a DUI event, will start at 11 a.m. and run through until 1 p.m. in the bus lane outside the Campus Union building. Participants in the event will get to drive around in go-karts with drunk goggles, simulating the experience of driving while intoxicated. There will be interactive activities as well as fun challenges to undertake. For more information about the event, email portales.wellnessambassadors@enmu.edu. The 2026 Metro Youth Art Exhibit is set to open up in Albuquerque this week. You will be able to catch a glimpse of nearly 1,200 pieces of art ranging from middle school to high school students across the Metro. The exhibit opened up earlier today, April 8th, at the APS Bernal-Facillo Professional Development Complex. This exhibit will run until April 28th, closing with an award ceremony for several categories. The city of Albuquerque and Bernalillo County will also continue the tradition of purchasing several pieces from the show to become part of their permanent art collections. The exhibit is free and open to the public.
Get ready to rev your engines, New Mexico, because Motorfest is rolling in for Expo New Mexico in Albuquerque. The public show will take place on April 18th and will run from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., staged in the center infield of the racetrack. Guests will be able to see a variety of vehicles, from imports, classics, Turners, customs, home builts, and many more. But guests won't be limited to viewing vehicles. There will be DJs, vendors, food, and more for guests to enjoy. The event helps to benefit Outlaw Desert Racing, a nonprofit which helps veterans with recreational adrenaline therapy. To find more information and purchase tickets, go to www.newmexicomotorevents.com. Coming up after the break, we see who the pet of the day is.
And we take one last look at the weather, so make sure you stay tuned.
Welcome back. A police chase with a stolen beer truck ends with a crash.
And the head of a robot from far, far away is sold at auction. All on today's Take a Look at This.
A high-speed chase of a stolen Bud Light truck turned into a beer bust when the suspect plowed into a deputy's vehicle, ending the pursuit. According to the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Department, the beer truck was reported stolen out of Evansville, Indiana, while the suspect was allegedly drunk. Body cam video shows a deputy deploying a stop stick ahead of the boosted truck, prompting the suspect to avoid that lane and instead plow into the deputy's vehicle, bringing the chase to an end in a field. The sheriff's department said the suspect refused to exit the truck, so deputies fired pepper balls into the cab until he got out. He was then arrested and is now facing a slew of charges, including attempted murder. The deputy who jumped clear of the bulldozing beer truck was uninjured. His patrol unit, not so much, and he later described his close call.
When I was playing it back in my head, I thought I was a lot further away, but when I watched the video, I guess I was pretty close. I usually say like foot pursuits are the Super Bowl of policing, but chasing a stolen Bud Light truck is definitely up there.
And from the Super Bowl of policing to the holy grail of sci-fi collectibles. That's what one Star Wars fan paid over $1 million for when this original light-up C-3PO head from The Empire Strikes Back came to auction. According to Prop Store Auction House, the head is an original used in the iconic 1980 film, featuring light-up eyes and original wiring, and is believed to be the only one of its type on the collector's market. A bidder busted auction expectations of between $350 and $700 grand, shelling out over $1 million for the decapitated droid's dome. Hey, in the collectibles game, it's not who you know, it's what you own, so sometimes to get ahead, it pays to get ahead. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Today's pet of the day is Finn, the 1.5-year-old mini Aussie Corgi mix. His full legal name is Defenestration Destruction Morrison I, and he loves French fries, cheese, and pancakes.
If you'd like to see your pet on News 3, send their name, age, and something you love about them to news3nm@enmu.edu.
Well, how about we take one more look at that weather and possibly our rain chances into tomorrow. So you can look tonight, we're going to see 49 with clear skies, winds out of the south at 12 miles per hour. And as we take a look at that 48-hour chance of rain, you can see tomorrow it's going to amp up a little bit with a low chance, and then into the later hours of Thursday, it's going to go to chance, and then possibly some scattered into Friday morning into the Friday night. But that's about all the rain we can see here in New Mexico. Let's take a look at Santa Rosa. They see a daytime high of 80 today, 80 tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. Friday's going to be 76 with cloudy skies. Let's take a look at Roswell, New Mexico. 82 was the daytime high today, 83 tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. Friday's going to be 82 with partly cloudy skies. Here in Portales, we've seen 64 currently with sunny conditions. Thursday's going to be 85 with sunny conditions, and then Friday is going to be nice and 84 with partly cloudy skies. So it's feeling like spring for sure.
So question for you, Jaden, what's your favorite thing to do on a rainy day?
Rainy day, it depends. I might go storm chasing this weekend, so, you know, we'll see what the weather looks like into the weekend. But it's looking like good chances for this weekend for severe thunderstorms and possibly tornadoes.
It really does.
And what about you, Mr. Fernando?
I personally like to stay at home, watch a good movie or a show, you know, kick back, enjoy some tea, not really do much, you know, maybe go outside and chill.
So what about if I go live? Would you watch me chase some tornadoes?
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching.
Good night.